Welcome to a 15 Minutes of Fame. My name is Goldie, and tonight I have moved out of my mobile rig into my not mobile home, and it is turning into a music studio, this is kind of part of what we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight, the point of us getting together for a 15 Minutes of Fame is that Captain Floyd and Mr. Wormstead have joined us. There were going to be more, but hey, 2020, I've got no excuses for nothing. If you were here, you are, and if you're not, you're not, and 2020, period. The point of tonight's conversation for this podcast is that we just wanted to discuss, we've been doing this pandemic thing for what now, like we're 7 months, something, 6-7 months like that. And, obviously all of us have been jobless in the sense of our announcing gig and our MC gigs, as we would do either live or broadcast, whichever version. We have lost a line of work that we were so used to just, being like, well, somebody will call me this weekend. I'll book up. I can't make plans for your birthday party this weekend. I'll be gone. And that was easy. Now, past 6-7 months, it's like, yeah, you want to have that 7th grade birthday party again? I missed a long time ago, because I totally have time. I mean, I got a 10 by 10 tent. I can put a speaker out there. We're going to rage. So things have changed. And in these times, we've had an opportunity to build and do something. So that's the question tonight. Robbie, welcome to the show, and give us a little background of who you are and what you're doing these days without a ton of announcing.
Yeah, and my name is Robbie Floyd. I live in Dallas, or the Dallas, Texas area. And I started covering action sports. I was a motorcycle racer, realized I wasn't as good as, I was better at talking about them than I was actually participating, and kind of stumbled my way into a career. And then getting locked into the right people and people that we've all worked with, and like Christy Nicolay and other people, and one thing led to another. And I'm a professional announcer. My goal is to always do it on TV. And, people ask you what you do for a living, and I always say the same thing, and I have for 25 years or more. And I'm like, I get paid to talk about my friends for a living. That's what I do. And I think all three of us are probably fortunate to have that same thing. If they weren't your friends going in, they're your friends going out,
So, Robbie, with your background of doing motocross and seeing it probably from the racing to the freestyling and all the aspects and disciplines that go with it, you had I'm sure aspirations to see records being broken this year, new tricks being invented, things like that, and maybe they still can and will be more in a private setting, because riders are going to ride. You throw whatever you want at us, we're still going to go ride.
Yeah, but Kip Williamson, he had that 5 4 3 2 1 show. A lot of people might remember, what was that? Late 90s, early 2000s. Oh, yeah. And I remember going on his show in LA, and I was sitting there, and I knew Kip because we were like roommates at Gravity Games Visual Days. And he's like, what do you think about this foam pit? Do you think you're going to see foam pits in freestyle motocross? I'm like, no, not going to happen. I was like, it's too dangerous, the land upside down. But I was so in my head thinking, and I'd been around all the BMX guys and skate guys that had done it, but I'm like, moto, I just don't see it happening. And yeah, there were fires along the way, and, some accidents here or there, but yeah, without the foam pit, freestyle motocross would have turned into what it did. But I just still remember Kip asking me that day, or maybe Pat Parnell, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think foam pits will really be big in motocross. And I was wrong.
So don't hang out at the horse track with you?
Yeah, no, on that case for sure. Yeah.
So as a career has progressed into living in the world of motorsports in the motocross life, like now you've had 6-7 months to have a curveball thrown at you. And what have you done with your time?
Kind of the same situation. Once we were in Switzerland and we worked the Youth Olympic Games, things just shut down. For me on my end, I would actually cover bass fishing in Alabama, like a regional event on Fox Sports South, and it even shut down. And motorcycle racing, Moto America, I do the webcast and the pay-per-view and stuff for that. It shut down, and you're like, I have nothing to do, and you have time, and it wasn't just our jobs. Every live event, was shut down. So it's funny. I was like, first, I bet you more attics, more garages got cleaned than ever before. Because if you weren't cleaning, you're doing something wrong. So my deal is, yeah, dude, you've got a sweet setup. This is kind of junky, but it was way junkier before. But I got in the cleaning mode, and man, I was, and it's funny because I had something over here just for my buddy, and I come from motocross. Look at it. It's a Jeremy McGrath poster from,
Oh, that is sick.
I don't know, 95, 96 that I found, and it's signed to my best friend that we were college roommates together. And I have it, and his birthday comes up literally right at Christmas. So I was going to frame it. Johnny, if you're watching this, don't watch this. But, you find stuff you don't think. And what's funny is I get to talk about my friends for a living, and I found some stuff that they weren't friends of mine back in the 80s or the 90s, but now they are in the 2020s and, in the 2000s. Guys that were my heroes then are my friends now and my coworkers and stuff like that. But literally the cleaning side of stuff, just, I killed it. I was able to do so much stuff between the attic, the garage, the office, and I was just in full lockdown. The other thing is you got to spend your time. You got to do something, just like our buddy Jimmy Coleman, he was a builder, but now he's a baker. I found like there's something that needs to be fixed, whether it's mechanically wise. I've got a pressure washer. I've got 4 of them. Something's wrong with each one of them. I'm sitting there buying the parts and putting them together myself. I tried it once before and wasn't very successful, but I buy a whole pump and I throw it on the engine. Now I spent $100 in this $400 pressure washer, and I've got a full unit, right?
Yeah,
I do it 4 times.
Especially too, you're going to be putting in like 2-stroke, like outputs, and you're going to put it like a K&N intake on that thing. You're going to have it.
I'm not even happy. Yeah, no, I did try and get a little more gallons per minute out of the thing, but in the car, like I've got a little BMW Mini like convertible that my in-laws gave us, and dude, it's a Mini Cooper, but it's a BMW product, dude. That thing breaks down like nobody's business. It's leaking oil here, it's breaking there. It's a convertible. The rear windows broke. So I figured out that it was $1,000 for me to get the rear window, the stuff that rolls up and down. There's a cable that attaches and rolls them up and down on both sides. I had both of them break within the past 2 months, and $500 a pop. I was able to do it for $40 a pop.
Right.
But it's just something that you would never do. You would never go, you know what? I got this on my M series, BMW. I can fix this. You would never do it. But you know what? When you're not making money, you can do it, because that guy's going to do it in that job. I can watch YouTube, and if you can't find it on YouTube, you're not looking good enough.
Oh, dude, do I have a story that segues with that? I went on a road trip. Car broke down. I own a Mercedes Sprinter van, and you want to talk about an electrical disaster. I mean, these things are relayed on everything. Like if your left blinker's on, your gas pump won't work. Or if your gas pump's working, your headlights won't go on. They're like everything electrical in there. I broke down in Crescent City, California, and was like, well, I could call a tow truck, or I could take every single waking hour of my non-job life and figure it out. Boom. 2 hours later, I'm back on the road. And then I tell you, I got out of that place because Crescent City is the crackiest of all California cities. All right. So moving forward, Nelson, by the way, brother, guess who went to their mailbox today?
Oh, you got some freshies.
Sick.
Look at you.
Not fair.
Those look nice.
And it is fair. Robbie, you got to hear this story. So, Nelson, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So massive. So, what ends up happening is it's March 13th. It's the literal day before the pandemic is ready to just shut down the bars in Colorado and everything. And so I'm with a production company at Keystone, and we're filming all the face media for the face of Keystone for the following season, which is this season right now. So it's us skiing all over the place, having a grand old time, doing a pray, just doing all the things we would do naturally. They're literally paying us to drink and ski. And they're like, just keep doing that. You're doing great. And they would just snap pictures and voila, we're marketeers and I'm a model. I'm like, wow, I never thought I'd be a model. Girls never say anything like that to me. So we do this shoot, and one of the parts of the shoot is that we get to do the night skiing, and they're like, cool, you guys get to do the night skiing. We'll do the shots. And it was powder day. I mean, it was like magic. March 13th, 2020, it will go down as one of the best days of my life. It was unreal.
Sweet.
And it wasn't even like a bro day. It was just a fun day. And so it's the last hit of the day. And the videographer, he's like, yo, dude, He's like, you want to send that one right over there? And he's like, just look at the little hit. I'm going to park myself right there. He's like, I don't care if your blade of your ski touches the lens. Get as close to me as possible. I'm like, all right, I'll send it. So I go and I straight air over him because he wants to get like the skis underneath and like the dust coming over him and all this. And I ski, I mean, literally right next to him, but I popped so hard and it was nighttime. I took my goggles off and I hit the pop and I right over him. And I was like, that was sick. And we're broing down. Like, that was the sickest. Yeah, bro. Yeah. We ski out and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, let's do one last shot where you guys walk out. And I was like, cool. And they're like, Goldie, throw your goggles on. And I was like, where are my goggles?
See ya.
So they're somewhere up the hill in Keystone. And I'm guessing some groomer probably found them and is like, nice. These ones are sick. I'm going to keep these ones. So,
amazing.
Major love on that, dude. Thank you so much. I'm so stoked to like ski again.
No worries. Got your back.
That was awesome. So pick us up. Nelson, who are you and what do you got? Who are you?
Yeah, Nelson Wormstead. So I live in New Hampshire. I've been announcing for, I don't know, creeping up on 20 years or something like that now. Yeah, like Robbie, just same deal. Just kind of grew up watching my friends, a little bit more on the action sports side. So skating and snowboarding is kind of my wheelhouse. Yeah, I've been doing the Burton US Open for 15 years. I do street league skateboarding and some of the other stuff too. But US Open was basically somewhat ground zero for this coronavirus thing and flew home. And that was the last time I spoke into a microphone as far as announcing is concerned. So that was
people in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. So it was an interesting time at first. And like you were saying, I was kind of in the early stages of trying to start a YouTube channel and start basically like a personal finance education platform. And I didn't quite know which direction I was going or how I was going about that. I was doing some videos on Instagram and different things like that. And I have a little bit of a background in finance because I went to business school and have an MBA and all that stuff. And then I work in the corporate side of action sports where I work for Oakley. So that's the stuff outside of announcing. I was trying to really kind of get this thing off the ground and with having no events going on this spring, this summer, anything like that, I really just took to my YouTube channel to basically create a platform for a place to talk to people. The whole idea was to talk to, kids that were like me growing up that just didn't have any education around money or finance. Take these topics that have these crazy buzzwords that people don't understand or they get intimidated around and just break them down and make them easy to understand. So I've been doing that. I basically do a channel called Make Your Own Luck. Every week I do Make Your Own Luck Mondays, where I do like a 5 to 10 minute video on a topic and just try to break it down. It's been pretty cool to do. You were a big help in the beginning when I first started doing it, just to kind of figure things out. Now it's kind of spawned into, I forget how many videos I've had so far, but it's a bunch. I've been doing
every
a bunch
Monday since then.
Yeah. So it's been, and I had a few before that on the Instagram page. So it's been quite a few videos and a good learning process. And now I'm actually working on an online course that's a little bit more action sports tailored, where I'm basically trying to do like an action sports finance academy, where not only young athletes can come in, but also people that work in action sports that just don't have true understanding about, how to pay taxes the correct way or, just money in general, and try to help people out. And so it's been super rewarding.
I love that idea. That's just, I'm so stoked for you to do that. And it's like, and in this time too, because like in 6 months, I mean, have you made any money in 6 months?
I think I made like $40 on Acorns from doing an affiliate deal, but
you are $40 up on me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's been like from the business side of YouTube, that's probably been the craziest journey, is figuring out that process, the keywords and understanding the SEO side of that. Getting to monetization is really hard. It's not easy. And to do it authentically, like you can go out there and you can put videos up with a bunch of thumbnails with weird clickbait looking titles and photos, and I'm not trying to do that. I want to put the information out the correct way. But I think I just, I need to narrow I'm a little too broad. I'm trying to be everything to everybody as far as finance is concerned. I really want to speak to the people in our community. I want to speak to the people who are trying to live an outdoor lifestyle and trying to figure out a way to save money and trying to figure out a way to just be better about those things. And if I can help somebody, get out of debt a little bit easier or tackle their student loans or something like that, I would love for people in the action sports and outdoor sports world to just get off on the right foot.
Well, and you've done it so consistently too. Like you're every Monday, you haven't missed. And
I don't
so
miss.
In its rawest form of whatever you're trying to teach financially, being like, yo, maybe you should conserve here, spend here, think about these thoughts or whatever. One of the core values that you're even just showing by example, just show up every day or whatever version you're doing, right? Every single Monday. And even if you're not getting the pull back from what you maybe thought you put out, right? You're like, oh, this is like one of my best shows. I know that has like the nuggets of knowledge. And you're like, oh, 3 views. Oh.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's been a lot of my deals. No, and I appreciate that because that's kind of that's part of the overall concept is to show up. I want to show up week in and week out. And then my other thing is just practice what you preach. So, I go on there and I'll do screen shares of my FICO scores. Like here you go. Here's where I'm at. I'm sitting at 799 right now. Let's get to 800 together. Or, I'll show my stock portfolio and how things are doing, how the percentages are going and where the market's at and where I'm at and what's been going on. So I'm definitely about, showing up week in and week out and really just practice what you preach. I'm not here to sell a bunch of bullshit. I'm here to, show people what I'm doing because basically I grew up super underprivileged. I found some success in life and there is a roadmap to that. And if you show up and you work hard, you can do that. And I'm proof of it. So I know it can happen. So I just want to show people that. I want to tell them that. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's fun though.
That's really impressive because, I when action sports started pretty much, in the 90s stuff, and I was always around it in the moto scene, but be around the skate and the BMX and everything. And there was a lot of people making a lot of money, but when you look back on it, there's only so many that held on to that money. And if you could help them do that or to try and, somebody's just starting out to learn how to, to kind of build, some of that money. That's pretty impressive because I promise you in the 90s, that wasn't the case. It was like, I'm making it hand over fist and they would spend it hand over fist. And there's been few that, that would do well, but they're literally just handfuls out of the hundreds that have tried.
It's slowly turning that way. I think what's turned first is health and wellness. Athletes back in the 90s, stretching, no way. They're partying all night. There was just a different lifestyle. So I think the health and wellness part is absolutely catching on. The financial side is slow, but it is happening. The issue that action sports or, kind of our world has is the window's just as short as some of these, whether you're a football player or this or that, but the money is just so much smaller. So the little bit of money these guys get compared to some traditional sports athletes, you just have to do the right things with it early and you have to compound that money and you have to learn how to deal with it the correct way because if you don't, you can get hurt just as easy or even easier in our world. And you don't get any sort of guaranteed money. So it's just super important.
And I think that's what this whole Corona thing has taught any one human who thinks that they can come at life with like one skill and think that they're going to just crush life. Like that may be your luck of the draw. The thing is that you have to bring more than one skill. You're not going to be an Instagram model. That's what this whole COVID thing has taught us. You can't be an Instagram model. There's no such thing as an influencer. Get out of the house. You're done. There is. But that's the sad part is that we don't really need it. Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this regularly scheduled program due to the fact that 2-3 announcers are still talking. And coincidentally, this conversation went on for an hour and a half. With that being said, we have reached the end of our 15 minutes of fame today. I want to say thank you to Robbie Floyd and thank you to Nelson Wormstad. Robbie Floyd, who in this time of Corona has realized that he has discovered old acquaintances being the best of new friends. Amazing. Creating family throughout this time. And Nelson Wormstad, in his time, has found a way to create a podcast to help action sport athletes devise a plan for financial success. Absolutely amazing. And thank you to you both for sharing your stories and allowing us to know what's going on in the world of an announcer when we don't have a job. For now, I got to go find a job. So with my name out and the 15 minutes of fame, this is Goldie out.